That's the pizza in our basement, so we have like 3 boxes.
And Kai, good morning, everybody. And Kai, I just wanted to let you know that there's some pizza boxes in his basement, despite the fact that 2 seconds before this, I was like, hey, dude, all right, you guys be quiet. I got a tape.
It was quiet though. Like, we're done.
So, anyways, everybody, good morning, Vietnam. All right, I'm going to do a little something here. Oh, not that, though. Can I go like this? Whoa, can't do that either. All I want to do. Can I go full screen? Hide presenter view. Good. All right, so here we go. The rise of the Mussolini. Sounds like pasta. So, all right, so we all know that Hitler was a fascist and all the rest, but what you may not know is that Mussolini did it first. All right, and so here you go. There he is. Got some crazy eyes, which all of these guys have crazy eyes if you're going to do the stuff that they do. But um, originally a Marxist, which means that he was originally communist, right? Um, but I think the other important thing is that's important to note is edited the Italian Socialist Party newspaper. Now he is a huge newspaper, freedom of press kind of guy, and it's going to be quite ironic coming forward when he's like on free press. So he became an interventionist, which means that he wanted to get involved into politics, stop what was happening. All right. And as you can see by that newspaper there, the Il Popolo d'Italia, you can see the title Popolo Italiano Corria alle Armi. I have no idea what that means. All right. But found in the newspaper, it's the people of Italy to encourage Italy to join the war. Now, what war are we talking about? All right, World War One, yes, and um, he did not like the Italians sitting on the sideline for it. Um, so the war was a turning point for Italy. The returning combat soldiers would form a new elite and bring about a new type of state. This idea of being proud and the militarism and all that, like we just talked about, is going to lead him down a path away from Marxism towards fascism. All right. Now, as you can see, quite dapper. So he is not hurting for money, and which you can then see being like getting away from this Marxist, let's spread out the wealth and all the rest. He did not really turn over all of his possessions to the good of the state. Um, so in 1921, fascists included in the political coalition bloc of the Prime Minister Giovanni Giolotti's government, and so they won 35 seats. So they are teaming up with other political parties to form this kind of like majority within the parliament. And in 1922, Mussolini threatened a coup d'etat, which means that he was going to overthrow um, Giovanni Giolitti's government. All right. Now, so they did this thing called the March on Rome. And 25,000 black shirts staged demonstrations throughout the capital. All right. Now, these black shirts are going to be synonymous with the movement, but then are going to be kind of part of his government. Now, so 3 years later, Mussolini seized dictatorial powers during a political crisis. So um, what happens is they seize power and now start to move down towards the things that we talked about, a veneration of state, a praising of the state, and all things are for the good of the country, all right? So they consolidate power. It means they control and centralize power into Mussolini's hands, all right? And the ironic part is that Mussolini did all of this, or did a lot of this through his newspaper and the freedom of press, and the government allowed for him to talk and be a part of everything that was going on. And so it's important to note that, um, a lot of this happened through democratic ideals that they came to power. Um, but now when you see, look what he does. Opposing political parties and trade unions, like we talked about, trade unions are bad things. Gonzo. Freedom of the press, no more freedom of the press. You can't write against the government. You can't write out against Mussolini. All right. Special courts were created to persecute any political opposition, meaning that those courts and those judges were handpicked by Mussolini. And the National Police Force was created with a secret police component. Remember, we talked about secret police. These guys are going to be nasty. They're going to go after people that oppose them, and they're going to spread terror. Now, state corporatism. All right, the National Council of Corporations created. Now, so essentially what happens is you can see guilds of employers and employees established to manage the 22 sectors of the economy. So they kind of broke the economy up into 22 different parts, all right? And supported by small capitalists, low-level bureaucrats, and the middle class, they all felt threatened by the rise of socialist power. But the goal Mussolini had was to harmonize the interests of workers, managers, and the state by abolishing class warfare. So here's his Marxism in there a little bit. So he's trying to even things out. Yes, he's going to take unions away from workers, but he's going to pay them better. And all of the wealthy elite that he was a part of, that social class, he's now going to strip their wealth from them so that they can't challenge him. Remember, the more wealth is concentrated into the upper elite, those people tend to challenge the centralized government because they have such resources. To where now he realizes this and does a nice job of kind of evening things out and making sure that he controls everything. All right. All right. Now the reality was, it kind of like it did in the Soviet Union. It set back any type of technological progress, any type of innovations, new inventions, and even though workers got paid a little better, they did not have rights to do anything they wanted to do. Now, remember we talked about the church, all right? That the government in a fascist regime wants to control the government. So as a result, he goes and puts a kind of agreement together with the Pope, and kind of says, hey, this is what the church is going to do for us if you're going to stay here, all right? So the papacy was granted temporal sovereignty over Vatican City, which means that Vatican City becomes its own country, which it is still the smallest country in the world. And the papacy was guaranteed the free exercise of Roman Catholicism as the sole state religion throughout Italy, which meant that no other religions could exist except for Catholicism, which most Italians were, but it does force the Pope to kind of bend to Mussolini's wishes. All right. Education. Oh boy, can you imagine if that was your elementary right there? Not good. All right. But if you're going to start indoctrinating people, if you're going to start to force them to believe in what you're doing, the easiest ones to shape are the children, right? And you start to get kids believing that the state is awesome. The glorious past of the ancient Romans is part of Italian history. And those problems that they have, here's the scapegoat. It is partly put on by the West, and the Italians need to rise back up over that. All right. So, emphasis on physical fitness. Again, this was your high school gym class where you do a flip over 4 guys holding rifles and bayonets, or you shish kebab yourself on top of it. I'd like to see that nowadays. Again, so we start to see the scapegoat here. You can see the numbers, 75% of Italian Jews survived World War II, 8,000 died in German extermination camps. In 1938, anti-Semitic laws were passed, all right, that excluded foreign Jews and forbade all Jews from teaching. Again, you can't, because of the church, the Catholic Church being the only recognized church in Italy, you cannot have other religions, and it was easy to attack Jews in Italy. There you go, excluded them from serving in the government and the military. And Hitler was Mussolini was Hitler's role model. All right. Meow, 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 meow. There you go. Good talk. Kyler says, have a nice day, class.
Have a good day.
Corbino says, have a nice day. Brian? He says he loves you. I'll see you guys.